Hey, welcome everybody to TradeScope. This is my YouTube channel for trading stocks, and this is a weekly recap video going over all the trades and everything on my watch list from this past week and trades in my watch list for this following week. So I want to jump right into it because something exciting happened on Friday right after the close, and that was with CHSN. So this is a low float China stock. I believe there's only like 3.5 million shares float in this stock. So that means there's only 3.5 million shares to be traded going around. And if you're a momentum trader, Chinese low float, that tells you right off the bat that this is going to be a pretty volatile stock. I was watching this on Friday afternoon. Around 3 o'clock, I opened up my scanners and I noticed this volatility that had been going on all day. So as you can see, it opened in the morning, just under 3, and it kept trying to get over 3 all morning. It finally broke 3 and immediately got halted for 5 minutes, and then it got halted, and then it came out of the halt and got halted again. For like over an hour, came out of the halt, hit a high of 660, got halted again for over an hour, and then gapped up out of the halt, halted again, then out of that halt, hit a high of $15.55 for the day. Kind of fizzled out a little bit, sold off, halts all around, and then halted into the close as it started to try to creep back up. Now, I started kind of watching it around this area, right here. Right in this area, I was watching it. And I pulled it up on my scanner, and I realized it was a Chinese low float. And I immediately thought of CTNT. And I thought to myself, this could be a potential repeat of CTNT. So I hung around till the close to see what it would do once it wasn't halted, and sure enough, it popped right up, hit a high of $19, and then got sold off, and I bought it right into that sell-off. So as it was selling off, I hit my hotkeys to buy 200 shares for a total of 4 times. So I got in this for a total of 800 shares at an average of $15.74, and I scaled out of it in the $16 range as it was coming up. See how this 5-minute candle here started to break out. I got out right there. I wasn't risking anymore. I was happy to make a profit on that. Could I have held it? Yeah. In retrospect, I probably could have held it another 5 minutes and gotten out higher. That probably would have been a good idea. But knowing what these Chinese low floaters tend to do, I didn't want to risk any more exposure. Every minute that you are in one of these trades, you have exposure risk. So I just didn't want to risk it. I felt like I didn't have the appetite for that risk, especially for how heavy I was in it. I admit I took a lot of shares for my account size. So I was just happy to get out with some profit, a little over $600 profit for the day, for trading maybe 15 minutes, total of 15 minutes trading. I was happy with that. I wasn't going to do anything crazy and let a profit turn into a loss. So I kind of want to, for those of you who don't know CTNT, I could show you that. This was, I want to say, yeah, here it is. So when did this happen? Oops. So this is the move I was referring to earlier. CTNT back in May made this ridiculous move for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days. It opened at $3.30, and it closed 5 days later at a high of $15. And that's not even counting what happened after hours on this day. It shot up, I think it was like up to $70. I don't remember. You can go check for yourself on the after hours chart. It's going to be tough for me to pull that up on my E-Trade chart here. But then you could see the next day it absolutely dumped, and it's never recovered since. So I didn't want to get caught in a dump like that. I didn't want to get caught in a rug pull. Not Friday. I wanted to, not on a Friday night. At the end of the day, I just want to take my profit. But seeing CHSN jump on my scanners, seeing that it was a Chinese low float, immediately made the connection to CTNT, which is also a Chinese low float, and I said, this thing has potential. And that's what kind of made me get into the trade. So that was my big winner for this week. That was really the only thing I traded this week. I thought it was going to be a no trade week, to be honest, but then I decided to open my scanners at Friday at 3:30, and turned out differently. So that just goes to show you never know what can happen in the market, right? Every day is a new day. Every day is statistically independent from the last day, and every trade is statistically independent from the last day, from the last trade. So that's kind of my trades for last week. I want to jump back in time to my watch list that I put together last Sunday. So last Sunday I was watching NNE, and as you can see, so here it is on the 30th right here. There's the 30th. So I talked about it on Sunday, and I said to myself, I took a trade last week and I got out with some profit, and I was thinking about getting back in for an entry for a bounce off this trend line, and it did exactly that. I didn't end up taking an entry. I didn't take a trade on this because I was just busy those days, but I'm really happy to see that it did exactly what I thought it was going to do. It bounced off that trend line. It found support. Buyers came in, bought it up, and it continued higher for the rest of the week. And it hit a high of $19.96. So if you had gotten in on Monday, a bounce off of that trend line, you would have made a good buck. You could have gotten in somewhere in the 13s and gotten out somewhere in the 19s. $6 a share per share of profit is no joke. That's a good profit right there. And I would argue that it still has potential. Another good entry would have been a break of last week's high, 1771, right? And it continued higher from there. Now, again, I'd like to see it kind of come back to either its prior resistance and find support there, or somewhere around this this trend line. Oops, it's not what I wanted to do. Come on. These E-Trade tools are not that great. Anyways, I want to see it find some resistance in this area, and then maybe I might take a potential trade on it. Its volume looks good. Closed on green volume on Friday. The MACD looks great. Gaining momentum over the past couple weeks of trading. Everything looks great. The news we talked about last week, it's got that grant from the Department of Energy. It's working with a lab, I think it's in Idaho or something like that, a research lab on microreactors, a potential energy solution for AI data centers. So it's a good energy trade. I like it still. With that being said, I kind of want to talk about something else that I was watching this week, which is also in the energy sector, and that is Plug Power. I'm not too familiar about what this company does. I do know that it's been popping in the news. It's been popping on my scanners lately for a potential swing trade. So as you can see, I kind of have a resistance level marked out. It's near the 200 simple moving average, but it's really at the close of this gap that happened right here, way back when was that? That was in August. And something that I've been really watching, let's see if I can doodle on this real quick. I've been watching this head and shoulders kind of form. It's an inverse head and shoulders, so you can see kind of got one shoulder here, another shoulder here, and then the head down there, an inverted head and shoulders. And so I was watching it this week to see if it could break over that line. Get my crosshair back. I guess there's too many things on the screen. Okay. I was trying to watch it over this level right here, this 230 level. It never broke that. It tried on Monday, but it failed, and it sold off a little bit, struggled. Still closed on high volume, on green volume. MACD still looks good. It's gaining momentum on the daily. So this is a potential watch for this week coming up. We'll see how it does. My plan last week was to see it break through that 230 and then to take like 1,000 shares, 750,000 shares, and see, you know, where it's next, and to kind of scale out either at 250. As you can see, there's some resistance looking left over here, and then there's also some resistance at this gap fill. So somewhere in this range is kind of where I'm looking to get out for an exit. That's kind of what I'm looking at as a potential next trade. NNE still looks like a good trade too. Again, looking at the energy sector, seeing what's out there, and we'll see what happens. So that's kind of what I wanted to talk about this week. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you want to see more, please comment what you'd like to see. I'd like to eventually get to a point where I put out some educational videos on chart analysis, maybe trend line analysis, reading chart patterns, candlestick patterns, maybe get into the types of scanners that I use and how I pick stocks and how I find them. There's lots of things I'd like to use this channel to kind of explore and talk about. So let me know in the comments below what you think and what you might want to see more of. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks everybody for tuning in. See you next week.